It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the MMA Bellator fighter, Keoni Diggs. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start fighting?
I didn't really know that it'd be a career or actually something to really put myself off of, but yeah, I really didn't know, honestly.
What was it like getting started in mixed martial arts?
I mean, a lot of people. There's a lot of gyms over here. A lot of people train just for fun. There's a big culture of like just kickboxing, boxing, all types of sports over here, like martial arts based sports. I mean, everybody just kind of trains it a lot out here. I mean, it's just a big thing. Like a lot of people train and never really looking forward like to make a career out of it or anything like that. It's just kind of everybody does for fun. Oh, let's go. You know what I mean? I have a lot of friends that have normal day 9 to 5 jobs, but they also train as well just because we enjoy it. So that's kind of how everything started with that.
What was it like, obviously, being born and raised in Hawaii and getting to train in the Hawaii region?
Well, I was born in California. I didn't move out of here. I didn't move out here till like middle school. So and I really didn't start training till like 19. Like I was 19. I was already out of high school. So I didn't start training when I was young. I was more on the receiving end.
What was that like, obviously, getting to do your first amateur fight in the Hawaii region?
I mean, it was good. It's front of your family and your friends. It's a good experience, something you'll never forget.
How did your first amateur fight help you to make your first pro day appearance?
Just honestly started giving me a little confidence and belief that I could do some cool things. I was just surprised, just really surprised at how well it went, and just surprised. I was just surprised. It was an eye opener that maybe I could do this, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, definitely, it was definitely an eye opener.
What was it like making your first pro day appearance?
My pro debut. Oh, Saad Ul Hassan. That was his name. There you go. I was good, man. A big learning experience. Probably the tiredest I've ever gotten a fight because everything was just you don't see anything, kind of just black out and everything's reactive. Now things slow down a little bit more, but yeah, it was just a whirlwind, but a fun one. Like I said, everything's a learning experience. A lot learned from that. A lot learned from that first fight. Every fight, to be honest.
Of course, from your first pro day fight, how long did it take you before you made the Bellator?
Probably like 6 years, something like that. Yeah, so it was a while. I think I was 9-0.
What was that like, obviously, getting to train and working your
I
way
was
up?
at that time I was 7-0 before I got signed to Bellator. So it was a while.
What was it like, obviously, working your way up and getting to train to become a Bellator?
Just a pipe dream. Just keep staying the course and just stay in course with everything. Just not getting those times where you feel like quitting because you're not getting no money or you're not getting anything like that. But yeah, everything, man, is just stay the course, lay it brick by brick.
Of course, when you got your first Bellator fight in the 261, what was that like, obviously, making your dreams come true of making the Bellator?
I mean, it was a fun night. I remember that night. It was a good night. Yeah, it was a good night. Really didn't reflect too much in the pay because it was a one-off. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was signed under contract with them yet. But it's always good to fight on a big show and a big organization, and that was a good night.
What was that feeling like, getting to be on the big show?
A little different scale and how you're treated as an athlete more so with the media and the locker rooms and everything, a little smaller things because it's a bigger show. But I'm kind of almost every fight is just important, whether it's a smaller show, bigger show, wherever it's at, from King of the Cage into little hotels or whatever it was. It's always super important.
How did the Bellator 261 help you to make the Bellator 279?
I mean, it was Bellator in Hawaii, that first one on 261, but it just still felt super comfortable because it was in Hawaii. The next one was a little different, but everything seemed to feel pretty good going in all my fights, honestly. I feel good in it. So, I mean, it sure helped a little bit, but every fight present different a different set of problems or different things to overcome, whether weight cuts or personal life or traveling or whatever it is.
How was it like obviously preparing for the final fight championship in the 407?
Which one is that? That back in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a good one. Well, it was one of my last camps I did out at the lab. I did that one, and then I did the one to get ready for the white show there at the lab. So it's good, man. It was good. That was probably one of my favorite trips. So for sure, we were in Phoenix, and then we drove out to Vegas. It was a good time. It was a good week that week with all the boys that were out there with me, and just everything. It was a good week.
Of course, what are some of the things that you do to prepare for your upcoming fights?
I mean, from regular practices and private practices with striking coaches, wrestling and jiu-jitsu coaches, strength and conditioning, sparring, a lot of different things that go on. But more so just whatever my coaches them have laid out for me, and then we go from there.
Of course, how long is a typical training from your next fight?
Usually about 8 weeks camp.
Of course, in those 8 weeks of camps, what are some of the things that you are preparing for your next opponents that you face?
Game planning, and just like I said, you got your striking, you got your grappling days, your sparring, mitts, strength and conditioning, sprints, running, just a lot of different things. Got to definitely key in on days for recovery and things like that. And yeah, basically those same things. It's kind of monotonous. You have little tweaks here and there depending on opponents, but everything's pretty standard.
Of course, from the moment that your next opponent is announced, how long does it take for you to cut weight to get prepared for that opponent?
That all depends on if it's at 45 or 55. A little bit easier than 45. Gotta definitely be a lot more dialed in and a little bit more hungry.
What does it mean to you to be an MMA fighter?
Just experience a really unique part of life that not will get a chance to. Super privileged and blessed. Yeah, man. Like just living a dream. And only got a short time to do this. So just living a dream, honestly.
Of course, what is it like getting to meet your fans and for your autographs and photos with you?
Super humbling. They're far few in between. I don't got that many. But super humbling, man. It's always cool when you get support from people for things that you do, for positive things that you do.
Of course, how is that feeling to have an MMA fighter behind your last name?
I mean, it's just at the end of the day, though, sure, it is a job. It's not who I am. For a while, I tie that to my identity and have to figure some things out in life. It's what you do. It's not who you are, though. Like I'm not that same guy in the cage on a normal day.
Of course, before the fight and leading into the weigh-in, what is it like getting to go face-to-face with your opponent for the first time?
I mean, it gives you a little insight, but, it's nothing more than a stare down, nothing more than everybody to, build up the fight a little bit like that. I don't really put too much into the stare downs or anything like that. So I feel at this level, everybody's tough. Everybody's a professional. So it doesn't, all the intimidation things or maybe head games or whatever that people maybe conceive that go into those stare downs. It doesn't really have too much bearings with me.
After you obviously get to the arena, how long does it take you to prepare for your fight?
We usually end up there like a couple hours early, lay down for about an hour, stretch out, roll out, and start warming up probably about 30 before we head out.
Of course, during that preparation, what are some of the things that are going through your head when preparing for your opponent?
Just really to focus on the technique. Don't get too caught up in letting your mind float in other areas that won't really help you out or help out your performance. Just staying locked in and engaged on what you're supposed to do.
What is that feeling like for you when your hand get raised after winning your MMA fight?
Shit, I don't know. It's been a long time. Nah, I'm just joking. It's a good feeling, man. Just all your hard work paid off. You achieved the goal. On to the next. But definitely you have a sense of achievement.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments as an MMA fighter?
Probably my last LFA fight. That Vegas week was good. The Vegas week was good, and even though I didn't get though I didn't get it the way I wanted it, this past Bellator was pretty good fight week. The first fight we had before I got signed was a fun one too. And just all the trainings I've got to train with people, relationships I've made with people from the sport, and just some of the experiences I've been able to have.
What are some of the things that you do in that last week preparing for your fight, leading into your fight?
And basically, you're just tapering down, getting the body healthy, and getting the weight down. But nothing too crazy. Nothing too. We're not going hard already. Kind of tapering everything back, like the body down.
What are some of the things that you've learned now that you didn't know before becoming an MMA fighter?
I mean, there's so many. Like, there's a lot. So just staying focused, staying engaged, and that really smart hard work pays off. Consistency and hard work pays off in dividends, for sure.
Who are some of the key people that you look up to in the sport of MMA?
Like Benson Henderson was one of the first champs. I'm privileged to be around. Train with Max. It's a lot of guys, man. I've been super fortunate to be around a really good group of guys in my life. Guys that have helped me a ton.
Of course, are there any UFC fighters that you implement your fighting after?
I mean, you always try to steal tricks and tips and everybody, not even from UFC, from even guys that are in lower shows or whatever. You just learn from everybody. That's it. You don't stop learning, you stop growing.
What are some of the things that you're doing now to prepare you to make that jump to the UFC?
I didn't know I was moving there. I'm kind of happy where I'm at.
Of course, who are some of the people that you plan to challenge in your next couple fights?
That too, I'm nearsighted as of right now. So just my next opponent, winning and getting a new contract. That's all I'm focused on. Names or people or anything doesn't really matter to me at all right now. Everything is win your next fight, and win your next fight and get another contract so we can keep doing it.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in the Bellator?
Just to win fights possible and entertain the masses while I'm doing it. Be entertaining, be a company man, and just win fights and entertain fans. That's all I want to do, win fights.
What advice would you give college wrestlers looking to make that jump to the professional level, whether it's MMA, UFC?
If you feel deep down inside that might be something you're trying to parlay into after your collegiate wrestling career, definitely take some strike. If you have time or whatever free time, a couple days a week or once a week or whatever for boxing, kickboxing, if you know you're going to end up in that, might as well start trying to learn that as well. You know what I mean? So just start filling up the knowledge pool, because you never know when you're going to use it.
Of course, what advice would you give people looking to get into the UFC or even the MMA?
Be consistent.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Everything is at Diggs 808. My last name, 808, IG, Twitter. Keoni Diggs on Instagram. I got an athlete page. But that's about it.
Thank you again, Keoni Diggs, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the MMA Bellator.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you, my man.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. You can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Keoni Diggs, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you having me on.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.